But this is actually my very first live video I've ever done in my entire life. Normally I'm used to doing live events where I'll go into a classroom or a theater and I will present the work to people. But as you know, these times are very challenging. And so I decided that I would try to do this from my office. And let's give it a go. Let's see if this works. You guys can hear me okay? Yeah? All good? I hope so. I can hear myself speaking, but I can't actually tell if the audio is working. Oh, good. Okay. I think sounds like some people can hear me, so it's good. So my name is Jeff Chiba Stearns. I am an animator, illustrator, author. I also enjoy making films. Primarily, I've made animations in the past, documentaries. Until recently, I started making children's books, mainly because I have two children. I have a daughter named Yuki, she's 4, and a son named Takashi, and he is 1. And so I found myself reading a lot of kids' books, and I thought, hey, this would be great. I've always had a lifelong dream of wanting to make children's books. And so it kind of worked out really nicely that the timing was good for me to sort of direct focus away from making animation and documentary and film, and focus a little bit more on creating stories through a visual format that I really enjoyed when I was a kid. And I think for me, children's books were a really great introduction to illustration, to art when I was a kid, and really inspired me to start drawing. And so a lot of artists that influenced me, storytellers like Maurice Sendak, Dr. Seuss, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with their work, really kind of got me interested in wanting to pursue illustration and animation as I got older. And so one of the first books I did was called Mixed Critters. It's a children's book about mixed up animals. And essentially Mixed Critters, which I'll show you here, here's Mixed Critters. This book I did for my daughter Yuki. It was done in 2018, and it was a book that I created for her because I wanted her to see herself reflected in animals that were mixed, like she was. So she could see that animals could be more than one thing, not just, you know, this or that, but could be many things. And so Mixed Critters became a book that I had created. It's kind of a way to sort of just ease my way into doing children's books. So it's an ABC book, basically looking at blending up various mixed creatures. So one of the first books I'm going to read to you is Mixed Critters. Then I'm going to kind of move into reading the newest book I did called Nori and His Delicious Dreams. Nori and His Delicious Dreams is a children's book that basically came out less than a month ago. And it's a book that I've always wanted to do. It's about a little mixed Japanese boy who dreams of sleeping in food. So the goal of this book was to help inspire children to want to try to explore different foods from around the world, maybe try some different things, and just kind of get their appetites going. So I'll read this one after I read Mixed Critters. And then after that, I'm going to go to the old whiteboard here, and I'll basically do some drawing workshops where I'll teach you some of the basic sort of techniques I use to create appealing characters, how I sort of create mixed critters, and hopefully we'll have a nice little hour-long chat and keep you entertained during that time. So it looks like we've got quite a few people on here, which is good. So I'm actually going to maybe get into reading Mixed Critters. So I'll read through both the books, and then I'll talk a little bit about how I made the books, and then I'll jump into the drawing workshop afterwards. And I'll take some requests from you through the comments on the side here. If people want to request different animals to get blended together, and I'll do that at the end. And hopefully we can have some time to draw together as well. You know, it'll take some of the inspiration from these books, and you'll want to kind of maybe spend the next hour after we're done talking creating your own mixed critters and your own little characters. So this book, Mixed Critters, like I said, it's a ABC book of mixed up animals. So I'll read through it. I usually, with people get books, I draw little things in them. So there's a happy little meow family you can see. I like meowls. If you don't know what a meowl is, you will learn soon what a meowl is. But I will walk you through the first little bit of this book. So Mixed Critters. All right, I've got two phones going here. So if I'm looking up or down or around, it's because I'm also streaming on Instagram and I'm here on Facebook. And so I've got two cameras. All right, so I'll go through the book. A is for alligator. So alligator is a mix of an alligator and an anteater. Normally when I do these presentations at schools and in front of students, a lot of the students will shout out what these are. I can't actually hear you right now, but if you are at your computer, feel free to shout out what you think each animal is. And yeah, we'll have a little engaging conversation that way too. B is for bleamer. A bleamer is a mix of a bunny and a lemur. So as you can see, both kind of strange looking creatures. They get cuter, I promise. Now C is for chickaroo. Now a chickaroo is a mix of a chicken and a kangaroo. I thought it'd be funny to kind of put these two together, and as you can see, it came out pretty strange looking. But I don't know. I would be worried to see one of those in real life. But the D is for deerle. We have a lot of squirrels in my backyard, so I thought it'd be fun to mix that up with a deer and a squirrel, as you can see there. Cute little creature. All right. As you know, after D comes E. E is for an elephunk. Not just the name of a Black Eyed Peas album, it is also a mix of an elephant and a skunk. Now an F. My sister, they had a ferret, and I thought, hey, let's mix this up with a ferret. When I was a kid, we had a ferret running around the house. It is a mix of a ferret and a turtle. Also, we had lots of turtles up where I used to live in Kelowna back in the day, so it was kind of cool to mix these two up. Also kind of fun to think of the name Fertile. G is for griffin. Griffins are an actual mixed up creature that exist in mythology, mainly across Europe. You'll sort of see griffins mentioned if you read Harry Potter, I'm sure. It is a mix of an eagle and a lion. Now, this is my daughter's favorite. H is for a hippopotamouse. Now, hippopotamouse is a mix of a hippopotamus and a mouse. It's kind of like the house hippo. Do you guys remember the house hippo? That little campaign about the hippos that lived in your house? I don't know. I think it's actually back. Now, I actually had an iguana as a pet when I was a kid. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of mix up an iguana. So I is for an Iggy Raffy. My iguana's name was actually Iggy. So I thought that'd be fun. So it's a mix of an iguana and a giraffe. Now, J is for jackalope. Jackalopes you think might exist, but actually don't. They are a mix of a jackrabbit and an antelope. And you can actually kind of see these around sort of the Midwest of the United States and up through Canada in terms of the popularity of the jackalope. Now, K is for a kitty hawk. What do you think that is a mix of? It's a mix of a cat and a hawk. For those who know me, I have a cat named Endo, actually, who lives with my parents right now because my wife's allergic to cats. And I thought it'd be fun to kind of put some wings on him. So he's a mix of a cat and a hawk. Now L was an easy one. These are actually this is a liger. It is bred for its magic and skills. If you know that reference, you've watched a certain movie called Napoleon Dynamite. But L is for liger. It is a mix of a lion and a tiger. I actually heard that these really exist. I've never seen one in real life, but I heard they're pretty big. And next, M. There we go. Here is the meowl. So meowls, they are a mix of an owl and a cat. I actually kind of came across these from a meme that I had seen of someone posting some meowls online, which were photoshops of cats with heads on meowls. So I thought that was a pretty cute animal to mash up. And this is my wife's favorite. It is for Narus. It is a mix of a narwhal and a moose. Probably a very Canadian creature, if you think about it. Probably lives in the up in the Antarctic. O is for otterfly. An otterfly is a mix of an otter and a butterfly. I made this a tiger. What do they call these? Tiger swallowtails. These are actually, when I was in Kelowna, there was a lot of these around the butterflies, and so I wanted to use that as the butterfly wings for this otterfly. After O is panda cat. Panda cat is a mix of a panda and a cat. Pretty straightforward, panda cat. All right, as we go through Q is for quokala. Sometimes I have trouble saying a lot of these words that I made up. Quokala. Now, a quokala is a mix of a quokka and a koala. Does anyone know what a quokka is? A quokka is actually an animal that I believe lives off a small island of Australia, and it is sort of famous. It's a large rodent that always smiles. So when visitors go to the island, they take pictures with the quokka, and it's little selfies with them, and they're always kind of making this cute smile. So I thought that'd be kind of a, actually looks like it's a real, could really exist. When I was in Australia, I did see a koala bear, so it was just wandering the side of the road. So really kind of cute, very Australian creature. R is for rhinoceros. Rhinocecorn. Yeah, I can say that properly. Rhinocecorn. It is a mix of a rhinoceros and a unicorn. A lot of people think it looks like a little baby dragon, which I guess it does. With its little wings and its little unicorn horn. All right, after R, anyone know what comes after R? S. Snakel. Snakel is a mix of a snake and a snail. This was actually when I was doing Inktober series, I was mashing up animals, and I was asking for requests for mashed up animals, and I think a little boy actually requested a snake and a snail, which I thought was kind of a fun thing to mash up. Now T, after S is T. T is for turducken. Turducken, this is a favorite on Thanksgiving. It is a mix of a turkey, duck, and a chicken. They don't actually exist. I guess it would be cool if they did. But if anyone's ever had a turducken at Thanksgiving, you know that it is a mix of different poultry. All right. Going on from T is U. U is for a unicorn. It is a mix of a unicorn and a raccoon. As you can see, I like a lot of unicorns. I mix a lot of unicorns with a lot of different animals. Raccoons, I live in Vancouver right now, and we have raccoons all over the place, and they're constantly getting into the garbage. And but they are very cute creatures, and I have a huge love of raccoons. Now, V is Vloth. It is a mix of a vulture and a sloth. I like this one. It's cute. I thought it would be kind of neat to put together two different animals that you wouldn't normally see together, and it became the Vloth. All right, who knows what's after V? A U V W. Aha, a wolfen. A wolfen is a mix of a wolf and a dolphin. So yeah, I don't know if it looks like it could swim, but it looks like it also could live on land too. X. X is for, all right, this one I always have trouble saying, oxalotl. Oxalotl. Although I heard that actually it is a mix of oxalot and a crocodile, but I also heard that it could be pronounced oshlot. I think there's a proper pronunciation of it. If you look it up, it's a little pink salamander that lives in Mexico. Very cute. And I definitely recommend Google imaging the oxalot and checking out kind of how it looks. But I thought it'd be fun to mash that up with a crocodile. All right, we're nearing the end. Got a couple more mixed critters to go. We've got the yakapus. This is a mix of an already mixed up creature. It is a mix of a yak and a platypus. If you have seen pictures of a platypus, you'll notice that that creature itself is sort of a bit of an oddity and very mixed up itself. Almost could be seen as kind of a duck, kind of mammal beaver thing. But I've actually never seen a platypus in real life. Have you? Last but not least, we have the zebear. I am a mix of zebra and a bear. I think it's a cute little creature. So that's mixed critters. On the back, last page, I asked you a question. The animal on the front didn't have a name. So if you could think of a name for that creature on the front, which is right here, please let me know in the comments. I'd be really curious to hear what you think you would want to name this creature. It is a mix of, it's a mix of a lion, moose, eagle, and a bear. So there's lots of things in that one. As you can see here, with mixed critters, I actually did all the drawings of the mixed critters on Post-it notes, which is strange, you might think, because why would I be drawing on Post-it notes? But it's something I've always been doing my entire life, and I use these Post-it notes that are about this size to draw on, and I just like it. You know, I think for me, I made animation on Post-it notes, and I can actually show you a little bit of animation I did on a Post-it note. I brought that out. So I made a film called Yellow Sticky Notes. It's actually done on this size Post-it notes like this. And this is about, I'd say, about 100 drawings. But as you can see, if I flip these, hopefully this works, you can see there's some animation happening going on when I flip these Post-it notes. So having already drawn on about 4,000 Post-it notes to make this film, I thought you know, for me, it's just very comforting to animate back on or draw back on these Post-it notes. Let me show you some. I'll show you some more animation because I think that's fun. This is from a film I did back in 2005 called What Are You Anyways? But as you can see with the magic of animation, this is about 30 pages, as you can see there. And if I flip them, you'll see something kind of neat happening. Hopefully you can see that. Oh, you see that? The two characters turn into fish and they swim away. I'll do that one more time. Don't blink. It might go by pretty quick. There we go. So you can see this is about 30 drawings, and it represents probably about 2 seconds of animation in a film. Now, animation, as you can probably see, takes a lot of time because I'm drawing multiple drawings over and over and over and over again. But I'm going to show you some of the original drawings from the basically Mixed Critters. And so as you can see here, these are actually the original drawings I used for the book. What I do with the drawings is I scan them into the computer, and then I will actually digitally color the drawings so they actually look like they are watercolored after it's all done. But that just gives me a bit more flexibility to play around with colors. But the original drawings themselves are all done with ink on these Post-it notes. So you can see there's some of those critters. There's the liger. There is the chickaroo and the turducken. And the Narus. There we go. And here's some more of the Mixed Critters. So as you can see, the drawings themselves are actually quite small. They're only done on the size of a Post-it note. And for me, it's a nice challenge to try and keep the drawing within the frame of all these Post-it notes. So I'm going to actually go into reading Nori and His Delicious Dreams now. And hopefully, just because for some of you on the West Coast, like me, it's almost lunch, so hopefully this gets you excited to eat some food. There we go. I always draw. If you get a copy, I always draw Nori in there because I think it's fun to kind of have a little piece of Nori in each of these books that I've put together. Okay, so this is Nori and His Delicious Dreams. This book was actually inspired by a friend of mine that I had in high school. He used to always talk about how comfortable it would be to sleep in a chicken sandwich. And I always thought that was strange and bizarre, but I always thought about how that would be a really kind of cool drawing. And years later, I decided when I got into kids' books, I would turn a book of a little boy who sleeps in food. So I would kind of create cute drawings of a little boy that dreams of sleeping in food. His name is Nori. Does anyone know what Nori means in Japanese? Anybody? I know there's a few Japanese Canadians in this group. As you know, Nori is seaweed. So what's wrapped around your sushi is called nori. And I'm sure I'm saying that not very well because I never learned Japanese, unfortunately, growing up. And that's something I really wish I had. But I thought it'd be kind of cute to have a little boy and name him Nori. And also because he's mixed Japanese like me. And so Nori's a little bit of me when I was a kid. But without further ado, let's get into the book. All right. So this book I dedicated to my mom and dad because they've been always very supportive of the work I've done, and to my family, Jen, Taka, and Yuki, because we like to eat together. And I think the family that eats together is a happy family. So we eat a lot of different foods. And I'll walk you through the book. All right, here we go. All right. Once there was a boy named Nori who had a very unusual story. He would snuggle up tight every night in his bed, dreaming of tastier places to lay down his head. This book rhymes, which was a kind of a fun thing for me to do. It was a nice challenge to kind of create a rhyming book. Nori dreamt he was wrapped in a spicy burrito and rolled up in sushi sprinkled with flakes of bonito. If you don't know what bonito is, these little flakes here are actually shaved dried tuna, very smoky and often sprinkled on certain types of sushi. If you haven't tried them, they are absolutely delicious. And I would really recommend that next time you're at a sushi restaurant, see if you can find a roll that has some bonito flakes on it. All right. He would dream of being nestled in a soft banh mi and swirled onto a plate of meatballs and spaghetti. So I'm sure you've all had spaghetti before, but have you had a banh mi? Banh mi is a Vietnamese sandwich, something that I actually just started eating maybe a few years back, but they are absolutely delicious as well. And most Vietnamese restaurants have banh mi. So if you're ever there, you can try a banh mi sandwich. All right. Nori dreamt he was comfy on hummus and falafels, and sprawled out on fried chicken and waffles. Oh, and sprawled out on top of fried chicken and waffles. Again, two very delicious foods. If you ever encounter them out at a restaurant. All right, this is a very Canadian page. He would dream he was snug in poutine smothered with gravy and tossed in a kale salad that was both sweet and savory. So we had to include something that was good for you, good and healthy. Although I'm sure the poutine is, as much as it's probably not good for you, is delicious. But a good poutine is a rare treat for me, but something that I crave every once in a while. Now, Nori dreamt he was cozy on fried green tomatoes and stretched out on a scoop of warm mashed potatoes. As you can see, yeah, again, I've had my wife has made some fried green tomatoes before, and again, very delicious. And mashed potatoes, a nice comfort food. All right. Oh, here we go. He would dream he was folded in a saucy donair and tucked inside the sweet cream of a chocolate eclair. If you ever had an eclair, they are also delicious. But you know that the donair, I didn't realize, was actually created in Halifax. It is a variation of a Lebanese pita mixed with sort of a donair kebab. And so, yeah, interesting history behind that one. Nori dreamt he was relaxing. Oopsies, I should go this way. There we go. Nori dreamt he was relaxing in a casserole dish and squeezed like a lemon on top of crisp battered fish. There we go. He would dream of a butter pillow on a stack of pancakes and woven inside a huckleberry pie just like Grandma bakes. Huckleberry pie. Have you ever had huckleberry before? Yeah. I've had some huckleberry syrup before. Very common throughout the Midwest sort of areas of the country. Nori dreamt he was stuffed inside steamy shumai and mixed with shrimp and tofu in tangy pad thai. All right, I'm getting hungry. Again, these are great Chinese dumplings that are steamed in a bamboo steamer basket. And pad thai is a delicious Thai sort of noodle dish, kind of like a Thai. I guess it would be like a Thai spaghetti almost, but lots of complex flavors going on there. Very sweet and tangy. Oh, okay. I'm getting myself ready for lunch. He would dream of a non-blanket. So I got to move it this way so my camera can get it. Sorry, these are glossy pages, so lots of reflection. He would dream of a non-blanket next to tandoori wings and lounging on a tower of golden onion rings. Again, delicious. And last but not least, Nori dreamt he was floating in a salty sea of ramen. So now you can see that his dreams are not all that common. Ramen, if you don't know, is a Japanese soup, noodle soup, getting very popular these days. So last couple pages. And every morning, after deliciously dreaming all night, Nori's parents wondered where he got such a huge appetite. So there you go. Nori dreams of food at night and eats a lot for breakfast. So in the book, I've included these 2 pages here. So if you want to learn more about the foods that Nori sleeps on, you can actually read about all of them right here, as you can see. And I tried to pick a nice wide range of foods from around the world, things that you may or may not have tried. What's really great is that I've heard back from a lot of parents that children get very inspired by Nori's adventures and dreams, that they want to actually go out and try the foods that Nori is sleeping in. And so a good friend of mine actually said that her kids tried falafels the other day, which is cool because normally they would never have tried them before. So it's been very neat to kind of see the, I guess, the Nori food challenge that's going on after kids get the book, and they want to actually try all these different foods, which I really encourage because there's some desserts and some very sort of savory dishes as well. And to me, all things that I really enjoy. On the back as well, I've also included a couple pages of Nori that I drew on Post-it notes. As you can see, I like drawing on Post-it notes, so all my books include some drawings of the characters on Post-its. And so here, this was done as an Inktober challenge, and I just wanted people to sort of see that Nori was a little boy that had a big imagination, and he also does a lot of things that little boys like to do. But yeah, it was kind of fun to kind of get to know his personality a little bit, and the things that I enjoyed doing when I was a kid too. And so it was a good little challenge to draw Nori doing all these different things. There we go, Nori and his delicious dreams. If anyone's interested in ordering those books, there's a website. You can go check it out. But yeah, kind of one of those just a really fun book to make. It's had really great reception so far. Hopefully the book is going to find itself into bookstores very soon. If you're up here in Canada, probably in Chapters, and a lot of your independent booksellers, which I really recommend that you support, because independent booksellers are great places to go to find books that you may not normally get to see. And so, yeah, very excited that this book is now releasing into the world. Let's see. Oh, I have some original drawings of that as well, too, that I'll show you. So, oopsies. They just landed on the floor. All right. Oh. There we go. I'll grab the hammer. There we go. Aha, back. All right. So as you can see, I didn't draw these on Post-it notes, but I actually drew these just on 8.5 by 11 printer paper. And it was good because what I could do is I could draw like the rough underneath and then put it on a light box, and then I would trace over it and basically kind of ink up the rest of the drawing. So this is the ramen drawing. Here's the cover, the hamburger drawing. And this is the shumai drawing here. So you can see that yeah, all the drawings themselves originally are just black and white. I usually use one of these brush pens. Oops, can you see that in the pen? This is a Pentel ink brush pen, and these are great because they were refillable, so you're not having to replace the pen every time. And you can see that there's an ink cartridge that goes in there, and that one's actually empty. But that's what I use to ink with, and then I just use one of these pens to do what we do called cross-hatching. So that's sort of the gist of that. So what I'm going to do now, now that I've read the books, is I'm going to show you a little bit about how I've created the artwork for the books, and also some techniques that you can use to create appealing characters. And so when I talk about appeal, I'm not talking about a banana peel. I'm talking about appealing, which are things that are very nice to look at. And so when you're creating appealing drawings, there are things that might be cute for people, things that people gravitate to. I think a really important lesson in appeal, and I'm going to erase a little cartoon Jeff here. So see you later, Jeff. Bye. All right, there he goes. See ya. And if we're talking about appeal and creating appealing characters, there's one character that I think has the most appeal of all. And it's something that can be drawn with literally 3 circles. Everyone in the world can tell me that that is Donald Duck, right? No, Mickey Mouse. And so with this character, essentially, through the recognition of 3 circles, we have a cartoon character that basically the majority of people who watch cartoons are going to recognize as Mickey Mouse. So what's important about the idea of the appeal of this character is that I can create something relatively easy, and so can you, by just creating 3 circles. But when creating Nori, I wanted to kind of also have a bit of appeal to him, and so I wanted to create a character that, you know, I always saw that, like, my kids, they would always have those little kind of pajamas with little ears on them, and I thought that was kind of really cute. And, you know, I think for me, that would be a very appealing character to try to create. So something like Nori, when I create Nori, again, I kind of work with circles. I work with very simple shapes, shapes that, you know, anyone can kind of recreate. And from that, you know, I know that Nori's got 2 little ears, right? So it's kind of like a Mickey Mouse, but not quite, because we're trying to create, you know, obviously our own character. But with someone like Nori, once I start to fill in kind of the shape of him, he has little button eyes and a little turned up nose, and I usually give him a big smile. There we go, fill in there. So what I'm doing essentially is using the underlying drawings where I have the shapes And I'm kind of just going in and sort of filling in a lot of that detail. So Nori's hair kind of sticks out from underneath his hoodie that he wears. And I'll have him waving, so I'll have his hand up here like this. There we go. And essentially, he has eyebrows. And let's see here. There's his hood. And a lot of times, too, I keep things pretty rough because when things are rough, I can usually erase things out afterwards. So there's his ears. There we go. And there's his other. There we go. And he has a little buttons. There we go. And there. So for me, Nori is a character that I can draw pretty quick. But the cool thing about Nori is that if I were to erase out the detail, and of course my whiteboard is going to be a little stubborn today and not erase properly, but if I start to erase out the detail of Nori, what I'm hoping you can see is that the silhouette shape of Nori is still recognizable as Nori. So if you saw this, you'd be like, oh, that's Nori. That's the character Nori. You know, there's his two little ears, there's his little hoodie, you know, and so you get the idea that I'm trying to create an appealing character that you can recognize basically just from looking at the outline of the character, much like what Mickey Mouse is like. So knowing that, and actually what I'm going to do, actually, because I'm having a bit of trouble getting that one off, I'm going to just do a little spray there, and I'm going to just wipe this off. There we go. There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to show you next, if my whiteboard is going to cooperate. There we go. There we go. A whole video of me erasing off of a whiteboard. Okay, there we go. Okay, so what's really kind of neat now is I'm going to show you some ways of creating appeal within some of your drawings, and the way we do that is looking at ways we can kind of create different details and different sort of small elements within your drawing that are going to really kind of bring life out in your drawings. And a good example I usually use is there's this idea that when we're creating jack-o'-lanterns, and I know that Halloween was a little while away, but essentially, when we think about jack-o'-lanterns, we use sort of simple shapes to cut out the eyes. So we have triangle eyes. But a lot of times people are going to just put teeth in that are very sort of just simple, which is fine. So we'll do some zigzaggy teeth like this. There you go. And as you can see, great. You have a jack-o'-lantern, you have a pumpkin. But if you want to really kind of take this to the next level, sometimes if you think about, not all teeth are always going to be the exact same. So to create maybe a jack-o'-lantern that is a little bit more scary, I'm going to create teeth that are just different shapes. Some are long, some are short. So as you can see, this is good, but this has a lot more appeal to it, right? This is something where, yeah, that's scary. I don't want to go near that. You know, this is kind of, okay, jack-o'-lantern, great. But like I said, just by adding some jagged teeth, you know, to your jack-o'-lantern, now you have something that's actually quite scary, right? So I'll erase that just in case there's some young kids out there that are scared of my jack-o'-lantern pumpkin. But I need to get a new whiteboard. This one's not working very well. Okay, there we go. There we go. All right. All right. I'm getting a workout today, drawing on my whiteboard. Maybe if I use a different pen, that might work a little better. So the neat thing is when we're thinking about expression too, I think that's something people don't always think about. And I had a student once, and the lesson of the day was to create a character. And let's say this character here is going to be a hamster. Let's see, there are little eyeballs. There we go. And this hamster was going to go fight a dragon. So there's its sword. There we go. So kind of cute little hamster. But the problem with the hamster, when she brought the hamster and said, oh, I have this character, it's going to be a dragon fighting hamster, but something's wrong. It doesn't seem very convinced to go want to fight a dragon. And I said, you know, this is a pretty easy fix. You know, if you want a character that is going to, be confident to go fight a dragon, it just takes basically the changing of 2 different lines to do that. So all I did was essentially change 2 little lines on this one drawing, this, bigger drawing, and essentially now we have a character that is much more confident to want to go fight a dragon. And so you can see that it is determined now, it is ready to go into action. So pretty simple stuff. If you just sort of think about the overall kind of idea behind, oh, there we go. This one erases much better. Behind sort of the way to create appeal and characters, sometimes it can be as simple as just 2 drawings. So if we want to create characters that are cute, we want to think about characters that sort of reflect things that are cute, right? So what is cute? Puppies are cute. Babies are cute. And if we think about what makes babies cute and what makes puppies cute, a lot of times you have to think about what are the features that make them cute. If you think about a baby, usually babies are cute because they have a really big head. Puppies are cute because they have big heads, they have big paws, and the proportions are just different. That's what makes them cute. So when I create a character, I usually just start with simple shapes. And so by using simple shapes, I can basically kind of start to construct a character. Now, let's do something like this. There's the body of the character here, and there's the face. Sometimes on these sort of faces, what I'll do is I put this sort of marker on here, this little cross, to help show the direction of the face of where this character is looking. Now, a lot of times as well, I'm using circles and shapes to create arms. Now, this will look like a bit like a robot at the start, but what I'm doing is I'm basically creating the underlying sort of, I'm building the character up through using these rough kind of solid drawings here. Okay, so again, I don't know what this character is doing, but we'll start with that. Okay, so maybe this is a baby style character. Now, what's really cool when you have this sort of like design, or basically you have the roughed out version of the character, this sort of, I guess as we build the character up, we can add things to the character very easily. And what's great about that is that I'm not sure yet, I'm going to create a character that has appeal. So, maybe again, this character has little ears. So maybe this is going to be a cat kind of character. If that's the case, I'm going to put the nose right about here. And all I'm doing is I can figure out, are those eyes going to be really cute? Let's see. There we go. Add that in there. Okay, so I want to try and create a cute face. Sure, great. Now, maybe the eyes aren't working for me. Maybe that's too cute. Maybe I want eyes that look like this. I don't know. Is that cute anymore? Let's see. Let's try. Sometimes people like the big googly eyes that overlap like this. The Garfield eyes. Again, maybe not so cute. Let's see. Some people like the eyes that, the big anime eyes. Is that cute? I don't know. What do you think? Cute? Nah. Let's go back to what I had before. I think I've always drawn characters with cute little, there we go. Cute little button eyes. There we go. And what's fun about this is that now I can add some details. So let's see, there's some hair. There's some hair, goes around the character's face like this. Connect it with a little, there we go. And what's good now is that now that I'm building the character up, I'm going to erase some of those sort of underlying little sketchy drawings there. There we go. Now, also, this is a cat, so maybe hands aren't the right. I'm going to give the character some paws. All right. There's some paws. Maybe they have a little bit of, we've got some fingernails there. Okay. Now, okay, character's getting there. It's getting cute. Don't forget some whiskers. What else am I missing? Okay, maybe this cat needs some personality. So maybe this cat's going to go in for a job interview. And so I'm going to give the cat a, let's see here. There we go. I'm going to make this business cat. What do you think? We're going to give the cat a suit. There we go. Okay, so now I've got business cat. So as you can see, this cat has changed personality pretty quick just by putting on a suit. But let's say this cat now, it's the weekend, and cat wants to go have some fun. So now we're going to have Surfer Cat. So I'm going to put some shorts on Surfer Cat here, and I'm going to give Surfer Cat a big surfboard like this. There we go. And maybe I'll give Surfer Cat a cool necklace. There we go, and a belly button. There we go. So as you can see, it's pretty easy to sort of take these characters and give them different sort of personalities, put them in different scenarios, dress them up, just by kind of basically erasing and drawing new stuff in. Now, like I said, if something's not working for you, that's why we're keeping things very rough and sort of creating that sort of skeleton sketch underneath. But essentially, a lot of what I'm doing has been a lot of practice, right? So as an animator, I've probably drawn tens of thousands of drawings over my lifetime, but at the same time, it's something where I made a lot of mistakes. And I think it's really good to draw a lot so that you can kind of work out and take risks and play around with your drawings. What's also really cool is thinking about the idea that if we're trying to create different types of characters as well. So here's a good example. If you're trying to create a very sort of superhero style character, a lot of times when you think about the shapes of the body, I usually sort of look at it like a big kind of bean, right? As you can see, there's the chest of the character here. If you were to create, there's the head of the character. But a lot of superhero, let's say, I'm going to use circles here. Now, this might look weird right now. It might look like kind of like an ape or something, which maybe I'll turn into. But as you can see, I'm just sort of utilizing the fact that I have, there we go. And superheroes kind of do this. All right. And there's legs. So if this is, again, this is sort of just the sort of underlying drawing here that I'm using. And let's see, give it some ears like this. So maybe this is a superhero monkey. I don't know. If it's a superhero monkey, then I'm going to give it monkey ears. Let's do that like this. All right. All right, something like that. But as you can see, I'm using this shape here to kind of show a character that's very muscular, that's ready to go take on some supervillains. And what's fun about creating characters like this is that you have the ability to basically give them any outfit that you like. You know, so maybe, you know, they've got this big super monkey symbol on their chest. They've got a nice little six-pack there. They've got some bulging muscles. And, let's give them a cape. There we go. And then a win there. There we go. Oh, yeah. Remember, let's make the monkey, that makes the monkey look sad. Let's do this here. Let's do this. There we go. Okay. Now the monkey's ready to go take on the bad guys. Now, if you want to create a character, let's say that is a little more goofy, then you would use a shape that's kind of opposite to that. So is where we had this character shape before, now I've just turned it upside down. Before it looked like this, right? Now we're using a body that's kind of like this. Now watch what happens when I use that kind of a body on a character. So this is going to kind of, this is more the belly. Oops, sorry, let's do that. There we go. Of the character here. If we create the head here, normally with these characters here, they're going to have a bigger head, kind of a smaller sort of draw like this. Let's do this. And they're going to have, this character is kind of long and lanky. Let's have them wave at you like this. And so this character here is maybe a little more in that sort of realm of being a goofy kind of character. And actually, if you think about Goofy, it kind of could be Goofy if you wanted to kind of go that way, right? So it's just a matter of kind of taking these characters, shapes, playing with these shapes to create the characters that you want that will have that kind of appeal. Again, a lot of times when I'm doing this, I'm trying to find the 3D sort of elements within these shapes. So if this character is looking up, this is how I would draw it. If this character is looking down, this is how I would draw it, right? If the character is looking off to the left here, this is how I would draw it. So as you can see, what I'm doing is I'm still using simple shapes. I'm using very kind of ways that are easy for me to kind of understand, you know, the 3D elements within these characters. Because when you're drawing things, it's very important that you have to think that these drawings themselves aren't just flat. You know, these drawings themselves are like us. We're 3D. We exist. We have arms. We have legs. All things that can move forward and all things that can move back, and so can move within a certain space. So when I'm drawing, I want to make sure that I can capture that 3D sort of nature of my drawings. So, all right, how are we doing for time? Oh, we're doing good. Let's do this. I'm going to draw some mixed up animals and basically show you the kind of joy of using your imagination to create animals that can be many different things. And I think this is a really kind of nice way to challenge yourself, to be creative, and to think about neat ways of kind of using your imagination to come up with new creatures. So, for example, I'll just give you a quick lesson in how to draw a meowl. So meowls are pretty easy. We just start with a big round circle. And because a meowl is a cat, I just give them cat ears. I start to basically just give them some hair around their face. And all my creatures that I have usually have little kind of button eyes. And they have cute little cat noses like this. And there we go. I'll stick my meowl's tongue out. But the cool thing about meowls is that meowls are a mix of owl and cat. So they have big wings, and I like to spread the wings out real big, so you can see here, and add some detailed feathers. And I'm pretty good. I can draw a meowl in a couple seconds here. And I usually give them a little bit of detail on their chest here, like this. There we go. And just erase a little bit of that. Oh, meowls, don't forget we have whiskers. Yeah, so meowl's pretty easy. It's just cat head and owl body. And I'll draw some little marks there to show it's flapping its wings. But essentially, very simple. Just round head and sort of triangle for wings, like that. So creating characters is thinking a lot about what are the things about each of the animals that make them unique. And so let's see. In the comments, and I'm looking at both Facebook and Instagram. Let's see here. Okay. What are your favorite animals? If you want to put in your favorite animals, I'll take some requests, and then maybe I'll see about what we can do to mash those up to create a new animal. So yeah, write down if you have a favorite animal, put it in the comments, and I'll try my best to kind of get to them and think about ways that we can mash those up. I did get a request yesterday. Hazel, is Hazel on there? Aggie and Hazel. Hazel loves bunnies. I also love bunnies, which is why my studio is called Meditating Bunny. So let's do that. We'll start with a bunny. So I'll do bunny. All right, anyone else? Oh, I got a unicorn. Okay, I see a unicorn in there. Unicorns are fun because they have a big horn. And what was the first one there? Oh, I got a horse gerbil. Oh, horrible. Horrible? Horrible. Horrible. Well, that's a good one. Let's do... We got a hippo in there too. Okay. Someone says dog. Okay. We've got a dog, dolphin. Okay, let's do this. I like the dolphin. Okay. So let's do bunny, unicorn, dolphin to start, and then I'll do another one afterwards. But let's think about this for a second. So if I start with the shapes, circle. I always start with the circle because I want to get the head shape down first. Now, off the circle, obviously I know that bunny rabbits have big ears, so I'm just going to kind of draw some big ears there. Now, unicorns are fun, and I'm going to move this little unicorn here and just put this over here. Unicorn. Unicorns, easy. Horn. There we go. So let's draw a little unicorn horn here like this. All right. There we go. So I'm starting to get the head shape down. Now I've got the bunny rabbit ears. I've got the unicorn horn. Let's give it a cute little face. Now, bunnies have cute little buck teeth sometimes, so I'll give it some buck teeth. There we go. Okay, and the fun thing is now thinking about the body. So we have to incorporate a dolphin in there. So let's think about what a dolphin body could look like. Well, let's start with the hand of the little bunny rabbit here. And I think from this point on, let's make it into a dolphin body. So as you can see, what I like using too are curves. There we go. Okay, let's see. Let's put a little dolphin fin right there. And right where the hair kind of ends, I'm going to start turning this into, there we go, some scales. There we go. Actually, wait, dolphins don't have scales. This is a fish. Let's just keep it nice and clean then. There we go. So that's what's great. Your eraser sometimes is your most valuable tool in your toolkit. But like I said, sometimes I like to work with the mistakes. I think that's fun. I'm going to actually move the dolphin fin just up here a little bit. I think that'll look a little better. There we go. And so basically what I'm doing is kind of just working in some of those elements that I think would incorporate well into my mixed up creature here. So as you can see, there we go. The start of a bunny dolphin unicorn. Now, if anyone has a name for this bunny dolphin unicorn, let me know. That's a good challenge to think about now, what we would name the bunny dolphin unicorn. All right, so let's see if we can try some other ones here from what people have mentioned. Let's see. We've got, okay. Oh, that's a good one. We got a horse dragon, a horgan. Anyone in the Instagram world commenting? Okay. Okay. We've got sharks, penguins, zebras. So, okay. This is where it gets complex because if we start thinking about, let's see, we've got a dog and a black bear too. All right. Let's think about this for a second. Let's do a bear. Let's do a bear. Dragon's good. Let's do a dragon because mixed critters, the why I call them mixed critters is because critters encompass all different things, insects, dragons, mythical creatures. Let's see here. We've got an owl and a snake. Maybe let's take the owl part of that. Are we getting too many things in here? We could do zebra because I think we could put the stripes of the zebra in there. So we got to think about what it is about all these animals that make them unique. And I want to be able to encompass sort of all those sort of elements. So if we start sort of thinking about, well, let's take maybe the bear shape of a head. Dragons have long necks. And let's see, got using circle bodies like this. Maybe we'll give them owl wings. Like this. And I'm being very rough right now because I just want to kind of flesh out what this character could look like. If this character, let's say, is a bear, maybe they have little paws as opposed to scales. Let's see. There. Let's see. Dragons usually have big, long tails, but maybe this is going to be a zebra tail. I think zebras have tails that kind of look like that, right? And they've got stripes, like this kind of a thing. Let's see. So I'm kind of just erasing away some of those underlying little drawings I've done there. Oh yeah, bears. Bears are cute. They've got cute little bear ears. All right. So I like cute things. That's what I like doing. Okay, little bear face. Oh yeah. We need the little, what do they call these things on the back spine? Let's see. Okay, and let's see. Zebras have stripes, right? Is this zebra stripes or is this more like a tiger? I don't know. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. There we go. We getting there? What do you think? Oh yeah. Wait, where is this? We got to figure out where this wing is coming from. I think it's coming from right about here. There we go. There we go. There we go. I don't know. Starting to get there. Obviously, it's sometimes if you need help referencing what animals look like, it's good to kind of go to the library, get some library books. But what's really great now is you're sitting in front of a computer. You can always use Google Images. I use a lot of Google Images to look at different animals that you can see, looking at animal books as well. And basically trying to just sort of, try and figure out what it is that makes each of these animals unique. So let's see, so it's kind of like a teddy bear dragon. Or let's say if we wanted to do this too, we could always erase the head and There we go. Maybe now it's more of a dragon. If we add some teeth, there we go. So I think what I'm trying to say is that it's very easy for you to, there we go. Is it mean? I don't know. It's very easy for you to make mistakes, very easy for you to sort of reimagine things once you've already drawn them. Maybe you don't like the zebra tail and you just want to give it, a simple dragon tail. Let's see here. Like this. But maybe you'll still use the zebra stripes. There we go. So like this. All right. Very easy to keep sort of adding to your drawings, to revise your drawings, to kind of keep playing with the drawings until you find what really works for you and what you really like. I think what's really interesting is when you think about if you wanted to add a background to any of your drawings, think about when you draw trees. This is my, I used to love watching that show with Bob Ross, The Joy of Painting. But if you think about trees, we always have a tendency to draw trees kind of the same way. Always sort of draw these same sort of trees. That's fine, but if you think about it, when you go into the forest, not all trees are always the same height. They don't always look the same. Sometimes we have trees that are long and skinny. Sometimes they're short. Sometimes they bend over a little bit. They kind of lean. Sometimes they're big, tall, and bushy, right? So in the forest, this kind of, if we're to create a background for our mixed critters, think about, ways that, and especially if you're putting in mountains, sometimes people want to put in mountains in the background that look kind of like this. But if you think about it, not all mountains are the same either, So if I was going to put mountains in the background of this scene, maybe this mountain here is tall. This one's not as tall over here, and it gets taller. And, you can add things like snow on top of the mountains like this. So as you can see, creating a backdrop for your characters is the same thing as creating the characters. You want to find that appeal. And a lot of times when you find that appeal, it already exists in what you're looking at. So it's good to look at images of nature. It's good to look outside. It's good to look at animals, look at your cat, look at your dog. What is it about your cat and dog that makes your cat and dog look different than another cat and dog? And I think that's really kind of fun to kind of look at when you're trying to mix all these creatures together and give them appealing places to live. So I really hope, and I think we're reaching pretty much lunchtime. So that was almost an exact hour with me. Sorry, my name looks weird there. But I really hope that this has encouraged you to want to sit down, pull out some crayons, pull out some paper, pull out anything that you can use to create drawings with, or even some plasticine. You can create, they don't have to be drawings. You can create mixed critters with, clay, right? So think about ways that you can get creative. Think of ways that you can find the appeal within all of your characters that you draw. And please send them to me. If you want, if you go to meditatingbunny.com, your parents can contact me, send me through Facebook. They can send me images. I'd love to see your drawings. So please share those with me. You can put them inside the comment box. I'll leave the live stream up so that people who might have missed this can watch it at their whenever they want. And if you want to watch it back again, that's also cool too. Again, if any of you want to support the work I do, pick up a book. I've got Mixed Critters, and I have Nori and His Delicious Dreams. They're all basically available at meditatingbunny.com. Just go to the shop. I think if you use the promo code Nori, that'll save you 10%. So it'll help offset some shipping costs, because I know in this time that's sort of the only way that things reach us is through the mail. So thank you again for joining. And let me know too if this is something that we should do on a weekly basis. I think it would be fun to continue these drawing workshops with your students and your kids. And yeah. Thank you so much for joining, and we'll keep in touch. All right, 12 o'clock. Let's go eat some lunch. What are you guys having? Sandwiches? Soup? Spaghetti? All right. See you later, everyone.